Mr. Barry Blaustein.
Hi, Barry.
Hi, Francine. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. What are you?
It's been so long.
I know. It's been since
When did we film? What year? 1997? Did you?
I filmed in 1997.
Right.
But it came out in
99.
99.
Right. And it's the 25-year anniversary this year. And that's why we wanted to have you on to just reminisce and talk a little bit about the differences in the locker rooms. But first of all, how are you?
I'm fine.
You're fine. Okay. Are you keeping busy?
Yes, I became a college professor like 10 years ago.
College professor? What are you teaching?
Screenwriting.
Wow.
University.
I wrote 2 movies.
Really?
During COVID, I did. Never showed anybody. They're in a book. Maybe one day I'm going to show you, and you can give me some pointers, and maybe we can get them on the big screen. But
what do I get to do in it?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Barry, the first thing that I found, because I looked it up on Wiki, just to refresh myself, because it has been a very long time since I've watched it. And I need to sit down and watch the whole thing again, because I remember when I watched it the first time, I was blown away, because back then there was something called kayfabe in the locker rooms, right. And now it's dead. Nobody practices it. With social media, everybody's business is all over the place. When they go to the bathroom, I mean, it's ridiculous these days, right?
It wasn't like that back then.
It wasn't like that back then. Well, the first thing I noticed is that Ron Howard was involved in this. I did not know that.
Oh yeah, he and Brian Grazer, who had a company called Imagine, they got the funding for it.
Okay, see, I had no idea until when I looked it up today. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I never knew.
Ron lived in Connecticut. His next door neighbor was Vince McMahon.
Well, we'll get into him in a second. We got some Vince stories to go over. The first thing I want to ask you is, now I know it in our locker room, I know how the boys took to you. What, in your opinion, what were the differences in the ECW locker room compared to the WWF locker room with your presence with the cameras? Because like we just said, it was like sacred back then. Like, people didn't want the fans to see people going over their matches and the heels and the baby faces sitting together.
Right.
Did you experience any, I don't want to use the word like bullying or hatred.
Hostilities.
I'm sorry?
Hostilities.
Hostility is a good word. What did you experience that from any of the wrestlers? And what was the difference between our locker room and the WWF locker room towards your crew?
Well, there were some who really objected to me being there. Like Sabu was very much against me being there. Mm-hmm. Years later, I ran into him at an autograph thing, and he just walked by me and he said, "Good film."
Oh, that's a lot coming from him. So, okay.
WWE was a little more open. The wrestlers were a little more open. There seemed to be one locker room where had guys who didn't want to be in the movie, which I respected, and the other locker room, they were fine.
Okay. So the one locker room that didn't want to be in the movie would be my locker room, which was the ECW locker room.
Right.
And the more welcoming locker room, you're saying, was the WWF crew.
Yeah.
Okay. I do remember, there were times when I felt so bad for you. We would be going, because it was a pay-per-view, and we're going over matches and stuff. You could just feel Barry's presence over you. And I knew what you were doing. Honest to God, I knew what you were doing. But like, I know some of the guys were like getting really agitated. And I was just like, oh my God, I feel so scared for Barry right now. Like, I want to protect him.
Well, one threw a garbage can at me.
Oh my God. This is so sad for me.
And then he apologized.
I was nice to you, wasn't I?
Yeah, you were very nice to me.
I think I was. Okay. Yeah, I just remember, the big thing, like I said, it was kayfabe, and they thought that, you guys not being workers, entering our world and our locker room and exposing secrets of the business. Like back then, you did not see that.
Right.
So
But my goal wasn't to expose the secrets.
I'm
You know,
sorry, say again.
my goal wasn't to expose the secrets.
What was your goal with this film? Tell me your goal.
The show rests. I was really, they said, "Are fans going to like it?" And I'm going, "Yeah, they're going to like it because I'm a fan. And I put things in it that I would like to see."
So the behind the scenes stuff is what you're really interested in, because nobody was doing it. You broke the fourth wall back then.
Right.
Which was incredible to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know backstage was more interesting than what happens in the ring.
Pretty much. Yeah, there's a lot of
this movie basically cemented me pursuing a career of getting into wrestling. And when I ultimately did work for WWE, all I could think about was the opening scene of when you showed the reception area in Titan Tower and the receptionist answering the phone. That's all I could think about was your opening scene of Beyond the Mat. And that's you like your movie set the foundation for where I ended up. And I just could say, hey, this was Beyond the Mat. Walking down this hallway, it's like, I saw this in Beyond the Mat. So it helped. It really helped my generation of fans see what it was like and then open the door for what, like with Francine and ECW, how they operated. Because I don't think everybody knew a lot of the stuff about how ECW operated. We didn't know that Paul Heyman produced the show inside the parents' house in the basement with the mom doing laundry right to the side. We didn't know. And then, to hear the stories of Francine going there at 2:00 in the morning or whatever to do the promo, that stuff we learned years later. We didn't know that in 1999. And you were the one that showed us all that. It's amazing, amazing stuff.
Oh, well, thanks to Paul opened up to me as much as he can open up to someone. And Tommy Dreamer was very helpful. And Bubba Riley.
Bubba Ray Dudley.
Bubba Ray Dudley was helpful. And Taz was very helpful.
So
New Jack was very helpful.
New Jack.
New Jack, yeah.
Of course. Why wouldn't he be? Going back before this was even thought of, you said you were a wrestling fan. Were you a fan ever since you were like younger?
Yeah, I never remember not liking it.
Okay, so that you said to yourself, maybe I don't want to be a wrestler, but I want to make a film about wrestling, and that's how this came to play.
Yeah, what happens is I'm friendly with Barry Bloom, who manages a lot of wrestlers.
Okay.
And is an agent for them. And I meet with the wrestlers, and they were telling these stories about, Jesse Ventura would tell me these stories about backstage and what it's really like. And I thought, this is fascinating. And I go, I remember talking with Jesse, and I'm thinking, well, we're not that different. He likes to go to theater. I like to go to theater. He likes this. I like this. But I don't go home and I don't go to work and pretend to beat somebody up in my underwear.
And in Jesse's case, a feather boa.
Right. And I wanted to know, I was interested in the effect it had on the kids, families of these wrestlers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, back then it was like taboo. And nowadays, personally, I don't watch a lot of wrestling, but I watch the reality shows about wrestling. And I love watching the wrestlers out of their element, and you were the first one to do that. So kudos to you and your crew, because it was an amazing movie.
Oh, thank you.
It really, really was.
And then I'm proud of stuff.
Yeah, I'm honored that I had just a little tiny part in there, even though I was sobbing. I'll never forget my little part that I had, and you included Paul's speech, which was one of my favorite moments ever. I've been in the sport for 30 years, and that night just is embedded in my head. And anytime I want to hear that speech, I could just go to a clip from your movie. So thank you for including that. But just brilliantly done. again, I just, I felt so bad for you and your crew, and hopefully some of us were like you said, super kind to you, and don't
Right.
worry about the others, because I think they were just trying to protect the business, as they call it, but I don't think you were trying to hurt it either.
No, no.
You're
I
just
was
trying to show
trying
a different side.
I made the movie for people who don't like wrestling, who don't take it seriously.
Okay.
And I wanted to show them what I saw, how I watch wrestling. I mean, I watch wrestling still, and 95% of it, I'm going, how am I watching this? What am I doing wasting my time? And
Really?
there's 5 minutes of it where I go, this is incredible. How come people don't like this? How come everybody can't see it this way?
What product are you watching nowadays? Are you watching both the big ones, or?
I watched both of them.
Okay.
But I think the WWE is under Triple H is changed tremendously for the better.
For the better. Okay. So what were your dealings with Vince McMahon when this movie was being made? How closely were you able to work with him or get to know him back then?
I got to know him a little.
Okay.
I think he's always presents himself as a character. What happened when I started the movie, they were in rough economic shape. And as I was doing the movie, they started getting in better shape. And Vince also became a character on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, he became the character more and more.
Oh, and did you see those traits? Did you see any of those traits behind the scenes? Like as his Mr. McMahon persona? That's how it came off to you in real life?
No, I didn't see it. I saw it in business dealings with him.
Okay, fair enough. Because you've heard about the scandal these days, correct? Yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna make you say anything you don't want to say.
No, I don't know anything about that.
No, okay.
And one thing I was shocked at in WWE was the amount of women who work there in high positions.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder why.
Yeah.
There was a tremendous difference in the locker rooms. I worked for both companies. The girls didn't have hair and makeup people. We didn't have stylists in ECW. Like you saw what we had to deal with backstage. Right. We didn't really have anything. And then I go to WWE and there's like a makeup chair with this lady and she's helping me with her dress and doing my hair. And it was like apples and oranges. But I tell you what, I was happier in ECW for sure, 100%.
I think people were very happy in ECW.
We were all happy in ECW until this check started bouncing. And then it got to be a little trying for us. So we still put on a happy face and we still continued to work. Ian, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just want to go back to Vince just quickly. Did you?
I got to shut off this.
Sure.
Phone.
He's a busy man. He's getting phone calls left and right.
I'm sure that's that could be the next call. Hey, so with Vince, did you have any kind of preconceived notion about him from Jesse Ventura? Because you're good friends with Jesse for many years. Did you? I mean, I'm sure Jesse might have mentioned him a time or two. Did you have any kind of preconceived notion going into filming with Vince of what Jesse had said about him over the years?
Well, I knew anyone who runs a business has to make decisions that occasionally are unpopular with the workers. I knew he had a big ego, and which has helped me. There's a soft side to him that he tried to pull out of the documentary a number of times, and I wouldn't, because he started doing really well with the Attitude Era. And I said to him, Vince, the difference between me and the people here now is that in a couple of months, ratings are cyclical. They go up and down, up and down, up and down. And when they go down, I'll still be here. And those other people will be deserted.
Oh. That's so nice of you to say. Yeah.
Very, and you know, and
it appealed to him.
Yeah, it's an interesting time for you. I'm sorry to Francine. It's an interesting time for you to be there because I don't think people realize, like you said, you know, you filmed it over a couple year span and seeing it, the WWF from 97 through 99. I mean, when you were there in the summer of 97, I mean, the buildings weren't as big. They were not as filled. And then by the time you hit that Royal Rumble, I mean, the building is packed to the rafters. You know, the pay-per-view buy rate was like one of the highest ones they had in years. And it's like you were filming a completely different company. So the Vince that you're talking to, who's concussed, who had just gotten his brains beat in by a chair, I mean, I'm sure you probably couldn't even believe it was the same guy you were dealing with from 2 years prior. Now, did you have any kind of interview footage with him from 97?
I think most of the interview footage from 97 was in the movie. I think.
Okay.
There's one thing. I was in Sacramento filming, and it was I think it was a TV. I think it was a Raw, and it ended with a match where Vince got hit over the head with a chair or something. It was a violent match. And Vince walks backstage, and as the crew's picking up the ring and all this, and he has a beer, and he goes, "God, I love this business," and drank the beer. And I said, "That's what I want to capture." That he really does love the business.
You have to. You have to be involved. Yeah. What were your first impressions of ECW coming in? Were you a fan of the product, or did you just hear about this crazy company and you wanted to include it? Terry Funk.
Yeah, he said,
"Okay,
you got to go see them. These guys, they're crazy. It's crazy."
And how many shows did you actually attend?
I attended like 4 shows.
Okay, what did you think? Because I mean, it's a lot different than what the WWF was doing at the time.
I thought it was great. I thought the fans were great, and the interaction between the fans and the wrestlers was fantastic.
Right.
It was my favorite place to go.
Oh,
that's awesome.
That's great. I like to hear that. I'm glad you weren't turned off by the product.
No. I was there the night. Who said the thing about crucifixion?
That was,
wow.
You know, we just did a was it a YouTube?
It was a part of, we did a whole episode about angles that hold up and angles that don't, and one of them that don't was the crucifixion.
In my opinion, that was the worst thing that has ever been done in wrestling. That's in my opinion. I hated that so much. And as soon as it was done, I ran up to Paul and I like screamed in his face.
Right.
It appalled. I was appalled. It sickened me. I don't like religion being brought into anything, whether it's something I believe in or not. I just thought it was in really, really poor taste. And that was the first time I ever saw people walk out of the arena and want their money back.
You're right. Well, someone came out and made an apology.
Raven did. And Paul had to force him to do that because he didn't want to do it.
Right.
He didn't want to do
it. Angle at that show?
Yes, and we lost the deal with Kurt because of that.
Right.
Kurt was supposed to work for us, and when he saw that, he left. So I think that was good that happened for Kurt's career.
Right.
Because obviously, look at him now. But when I think back to things that I am so glad I was not a part of, that one is like first on my list, because I would have told them absolutely not. I wouldn't have did it. Just sickened me. I didn't like it, but I'm sorry you had to be there for that debacle. Because
what a show to be there for.
Yeah, right. That was terrible. But other than that, I mean, I had a ball. We did some crazy angles. We really did.
Crazy angles. Crazy angles.
Yeah.
It was called Extremes.
It's true. It's true. Would you ever make a Beyond the Mat 2?
I don't think so.
Okay.
because I covered everything I wanted to in the first one.
Right.
And I don't want to rip wrestling fans off by just putting something together and go, here's two.
Right. Is there any chance, because it's the 25th year, like, anniversary, would you be able to re-release it in theaters or something like that?
That's a Universal call. Universal Films call.
Okay, so you have nothing to do with that.
Right.
You should request that, because I think it would do well. I really do.
I think it would do well if it was like a one night only.
But you would have to do it in like all the cities. You couldn't just do it in like New York and LA, because a lot of people wouldn't be able to get to it.
Right.
But I think that would be so cool to be able to see it on the big screen like one more time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was groundbreaking. I'm not just kissing your ass right now. It was so incredibly different for the time that we were in. And you did it. You, like I said, broke that fourth wall, and you let people into a business that was so closed off. And people always wondered what is going on, what happens when they're, going over their matches, and what does the back look like, and the wrestlers traveling together, and who's friends with who. You got to step foot into our world, and that was extremely rare.
Right.
And you did that. So you should be really proud, because look at all.
I'm very proud of the film. And I should do the show every week.
But look at all of the shows that have come. You spawned so many reality shows that have to do with wrestling. You did it first.
Right. And there's a difference between the reality and film shows in my film, I think.
Well, there is, but you set the tone for it.
Right.
You brought people into a world that they're not supposed to be into. And then it just evolved with the times. You know what I mean? But like back then, that had never happened before. And it was so extraordinary and so out of the box. And, as a wrestling fan myself, seeing something like that was mind blowing, because you did not see that anywhere else. So, I mean, kudos to you.
Yeah. Vince McMahon at gorilla position in the Royal Rumble. Paul on the steps of the ECW arena. The Rock going over his promo that he's about to go say in front of a live pay-per-view audience. I mean, it's just like, wow.
It was brilliantly done, and it was so rare. That's the one word I could think. It was so rare for that time frame, and so cool that I could say I was a part of it. So thank you for including me.
Thank you for letting me film you.
Oh, absolutely. And I just wish that more people could watch it, especially in today's day and age. Right. Like, I just wish it could be released again, because I think the younger generation seeing that would get a kick out of it, because, now with Vince buying like every tape library there is out there, all of our old stuff is being shown, and it's like it's new. Kids for the first time are getting to see ECW and WCW and early WWF. And Shane Douglas and I do all these appearances, and 10-year-olds come up to us, oh, the angle where you and Taz did this, and you went through the table and you did it, and he's 10. And I'm like, that was 30 years ago. You know what I mean? So they're just watching it for the first time. So I think people would get such a kick out of seeing, if we can get this movie trending for the 25 years, I think people would eat it up and they would love to watch it again.
Great. Or
for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people have. Yeah, we got to get a hashtag going. We got to get them trend. Barry, I'm going to try to get you trending. Are you on Twitter? Are you on X?
No, I'm not on Twitter.
You're not. Well,
I'm not on any social media.
Oh, geez. Well, that's going to be kind of hard. I'm going to try to do it on my own, and I'll see what I can figure out. I'll let you know. But I want people to see this film because it was so well done, and it just captured the magic that wasn't out yet.
It's weird. I've written films that had made a lot more money than Beyond the Mat did.
Right.
Yet I'm asked in interviews more about Beyond the Mat
What reason do you think that is? Well, for what reason?
It's a cult film that's only grown in stature as time has gone on.
Same as ECW. We were that little cult company, so we have a lot in common, Barry. We really do. Well, is there anything that you want to plug? Anything that you're doing these days besides teaching that you would like to plug? Since you don't have social media, we can help you promote it.
You can donate money to the Parkinson Foundation.
Okay.
I currently have Parkinson's.
Okay. And when were you diagnosed?
In 2016.
2016. Okay. How's life been?
Life's been different.
And obviously you're teaching with it.
I'm teaching with it.
Okay.
I don't drive anymore.
Okay.
That's the big difference.
Okay.
And I had an operation this past summer on my brain where they opened it up and put in rewired some things.
Now, does that help with the tremors?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, brilliant. Okay. That's great. So if they want to donate, is there a specific website they can go to, or do they just look up Parkinson's or?
American Parkinson's Association.
Okay.
Or the Michael J. Fox is the organization. They both
got it.
Work.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Barry, this has been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure seeing you. So what's going on with you now?
Oh, I got married about 16 years ago. I have 2 children. And I work, I do this. And we do conventions and we do some shows here and there. Life is good. I like to stay home with my kids, but if they want to pay me, I'll get on a plane and go somewhere.
You ever get to LA?
I have not been to LA I think the last time I performed there was like 2018.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's been a while. But if I get out there, I'd love to see you.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. So we'll try to figure something out. Somebody book me in California so I could see Barry. I'm putting it out to the universe. But Barry, you're a doll. Thank you so much for coming on. Ian, do you have anything to add before we let him go?
Just happy to talk to Barry again. I got the chance to interview him in I think 2015. Very comprehensive, very long. He gave us a great one, and just happy to reconnect and do it again. It was a pleasure to set it up and a pleasure to talk to you. And I thank you for helping me see what it was like to then pursue a career in wrestling and get to do it. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, God bless you, Barry. You take care of yourself. Hope to see you soon, okay?
Okay. Take care.
Take care, Barry. Bye-bye.